The Hound of the Baskervilles, Chapter 7. Family Secrets. "I have read all your reports, Watson," said Holmes. "They are sent to me from London. You have done an excellent job. Please do not be angry that I did not tell you I was here. It was important that no one knew, and you would have wanted to visit me or bring me some food or clothes. Cartwright came down from London with me, and he has been a great help." I told Holmes what I learned from Laura Lyons. "Very good," he said. "That is important. You know, of course, that Laura Lyons and Mr. Stapleton are close. She hopes to become his wife. She does not know that he is already married." "He is married? To whom?" "To the lady whom he introduces as his sister. I know this for a fact. When Laura Lyons finds out that Mr. Stapleton has been lying to her, she may decide to help us. We shall see. But now you need to return to Baskerville Hall, Watson. Do not leave Sir Henry alone." But tell me this, at least, Holmes. What is it all this about? What does Stapleton want?" "It is about murder, Watson. Clever, cold-blooded murder. But we almost have him. Another day or two at the most, and we will have him. Until then, look after Sir Henry." As Holmes finished, a terrible scream echoed over the moor, and with it a deep sound like the growl of a great dog. "The Hound!" shouted Holmes. "Quickly, Watson! There is no time to lose!" We ran across the moor, following the sound. But then there was a last scream, a heavy fall, and silence. "Oh, we are too late!" cried Holmes. But we carried on running. At the bottom of a steep cliff we found the body, broken from the fall. We could see Sir Henry's coat. Holmes shook his head. "Why did I wait? Now two have died instead of one. The Hound must be close by, and Sir Henry fell as he ran in terror from it. But we cannot arrest Stapleton yet. First we need to show that the Hound is his. Come, Watson, help with the body." Suddenly Holmes laughed. "A beard!" he said. "He has a beard, Watson! This is not Sir Henry. It is the convict, Selden. Your friend Barrymore must have given him some of Sir Henry's old clothes, and the clothes killed him." "How could the clothes kill him?" "The Hound knows the smell. Remember the boots stolen from the hotel? But look, here comes Stapleton now. Watson, say nothing of what we know." "Is that you, Dr. Watson?" called Stapleton. "What are you doing on the moor at this time? And what's this? Someone is hurt? Is this our friend Sir Henry?" I saw Stapleton bend over the body and then heard him gasp. Who's this?" "It is Selden, the criminal. No doubt he had an accident in the dark and fell from the cliff there." "Yes," said Stapleton, "you are probably right." He looked at Holmes. "And what do you think, Mr. Holmes? We have been expecting your visit. Can you help us with this mystery?" "I'm sure Watson's suggestion is correct. There is a little I could do with legends and stories. I will be returning to London tomorrow." We left Stapleton to cover the body and walked back across the moor together. Did you see how quickly he controlled himself? Killing the wrong man was a terrible shock to him, but he recovered immediately. I tell you, Watson, this man is very dangerous. It is a pity that he saw you. Perhaps he may be more careful now, or more desperate. We shall see. Please say nothing of the Hound to Sir Henry. There is no need to scare him." Sir Henry was delighted to see Holmes. I went to tell Mr. and Mrs. Barrymore about Selden's death while Holmes spoke with Sir Henry. When I came back, they were walking along the passage with the portraits of the Baskervilles. Holmes suddenly stopped and laughed aloud. "What is it?" Sir Henry asked. "Oh, nothing," said Holmes. "You have a very fine set of portraits. Are they all family portraits? Who is that one?" This is Hugo Baskerville, the one who started the terrible legend of the Hound." Holmes said little more, but we returned to the portrait after Sir Henry had gone to bed. "Well, Watson," he said, holding up a candle, "is it anyone you know?" With a smile, Holmes pulled up a chair and stood on it. He covered the man's head and hair with his arm, and I gasped. The face looking out at me was Stapleton's. "You see it now," said Holmes. "A detective must see through a disguise. Stapleton is a Baskerville. There can be no doubt. We shall catch him like one of his butterflies and add him to the Baker Street collection." In the morning, Holmes was full of energy. We met Sir Henry at breakfast. "I understand that you are having dinner with the Stapletons tonight," said Holmes. "I'm afraid Dr. Watson and I will not be coming with you. We must return to London at once. Please tell the Stapletons that we are very sorry." Sir Henry looked most upset, but he promised to give the message to the Stapletons. "One more thing, Sir Henry. You may drive to the Stapletons' house, but you must walk home afterwards. This will need courage, but you are a brave man, I see. Remember to keep to the path. Do not go on to the moor. This is most important." "I will do as you ask." We left Baskerville Hall and headed to Coombe Tracey. A telegram was waiting for us with information that Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard was coming to meet us. Holmes' plans were ready. Next we went to see Laura Lyons. At first she did not believe that Stapleton was married, but Holmes had a photograph to prove it. Her eyes blazed with anger as she realized that Stapleton had lied to her, and she told us the whole story. Stapleton had told her to send a letter to Sir Charles, and afterwards to not go to the meeting. "You have been very lucky, Mrs. Lyons," said Holmes. "Stapleton is a dangerous man. Now, Watson, let us go and meet the inspector. The end of our chase is close." It is an irritating habit of Holmes that he never tells anyone his full plans until the last moment, and he did not tell Lestrade or I this time. We drove towards Stapleton's house, walking the last part of the route. "Are you armed, Lestrade?" asked Holmes. "I am. Could you tell me what we can expect next?" "Some waiting, Inspector. Patience. We will sit here behind these rocks. Watson, take a look through the window." Inside the house I saw Mr. Stapleton and Sir Henry. They were talking and had wine and cigars. I could not see Stapleton's wife, however. A few moments later Mr. Stapleton came out of the house and went to a small building outside. We heard him unlock it and then go back into the house. A thick fog was coming towards us over the moor. Holmes looked worried, but soon we heard the sound of footsteps. "Here he comes!" called Holmes, and I saw a pistol in his hand. Sir Henry walked past us without seeing us, and then we saw it. From out of the fog it came. A huge black beast, larger than any hound I had ever seen. Fire came from its mouth, and its eyes were bright red. Step by step it followed Sir Henry. Holmes and I fired at the same time, and the creature howled in pain, but it did not fall. It ran after Sir Henry and leaped on him. Holmes fired again and again. 5 times he shot the creature, and finally it fell to the ground dead. Sir Henry was not hurt, but it was a while before he could speak. I looked at the beast. It was not a hound, but some kind of mastiff, almost the size of a lion, and it was painted so that it shone like fire in the night. We did not find Stapleton in the house, but we found his wife in a room upstairs. Stapleton had beaten her and locked her inside so that she could not tell Sir Henry of his plans. "Where is your husband, Mrs. Stapleton?" asked Holmes. "There is no reason for you to protect him. He has only one place to hide, an island in the mire, but in the fog he will not be able to get out again. We searched for Stapleton the next morning, but there was no sign of him. We found Sir Henry's old boot there, so we knew he ran into the mire in the fog, but he must have fallen into the mud somewhere, and he was never seen again." "Well, here he will lie," said Holmes. "I don't think we have ever known a more dangerous man, Watson." It was only later, after Holmes had spoken twice with Mrs. Stapleton, that we understood the whole story. Stapleton was indeed a Baskerville, the son of Roger Baskerville, who had left England for South America. It seems he got married there and had a son. Stapleton's real name was Roger Baskerville, the same as his father's. Eventually he came to England and came up with this plan to kill everyone who was in his way, using a patent dog to bring the family legend to life. But he did not count on the interference of the greatest amateur detective in the world, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. The end of The Hound of the Baskervilles.